Alright, what's good, y'all? This is White Rice here, coming to you for something I'm going to be doing not every week, but once every few weeks, and that is a top 5 SNL episodes so far. Now, just to let you know, I am a huge fan of SNL. I've been watching clips of it ever since I was like in middle school, but I fully started watching the show during season 40, and man, did I love it. I mean, sure, it wasn't as great as back in the 70s and the 90s, but I mean, it was still good for what it was, really. I mean, considering people like Andy Samberg, Bill Hader, Kristen Wiig, and even Tina Fey were no longer on the show at that point. So we're about 5 episodes into the new season so far, and with the new episode 6 coming out with Matthew McConaughey and Adele. And what I think about season 41 so far, it's good, not great. I'm just gonna say it right now. Yeah. So how this countdown is gonna work is I'm gonna go from the what I think was the worst episode up to the best episode. Because believe me, there was a terrible episode to start off with, and which, speaking of which, at number 5, which was the Miley Cyrus episode. Oh boy, oh boy. When you do a season opener of a show, you usually want to put out your best writing, your best cast members, or even, some of the best music. I don't know what the hell Lorne Michaels was thinking when he put together this episode. I mean, let me just tell you something right now about Miley Cyrus. Even I'm not a big fan of her music, and I think the music on this was probably the worst that SNL's done in a while. In fact, it's easily the worst of the season so far. But let's not get into that because the music only makes up a small portion of the show. And now Miley Cyrus, I did watch part of the 2013 episode and even the earlier episodes she did earlier in the decade, and they were both pretty good episodes. It shows that Miley has talent to do comedy. However, what the hell was going on in this episode? Miley wasn't funny at all. I mean, the comedy felt flat, especially during the opening monologue. I mean, sure, it was kind of clever how they put together some of the things that happened over the summer, but I just wasn't feeling it. And as for the rest of the sketches, there was one sketch that saved this episode, and that was the political candidates one that should drop out of the race. I thought that was kind of clever, especially the bit about Bobby Jindal. I like that. But other than that, the episode was just so lukewarm that, you almost like didn't want to taste it, really. So yeah, but as for John Radinsky, as his first episode as a new cast member, he was all right, really. I mean, what was the real problem with this episode was the writing, honestly. I mean, Colin Jost, Michael Shea, rest of the crew, what was up with you guys, really? Well, what was up? And I guess one of the main problems of the show is that they kept every single cast member from the last season, which, don't get me wrong, it was a good cast, but really, why did you keep Colin Jost on Weekend Update? Michael Shea's good on Weekend Update, he's good, but Colin Jost, really, just go back to the writer's room. Alright, in 4th place right now, we are going to have the most recent episode. Today is November 20th. The most recent episode was November 14th. So that was the Elizabeth Banks and Disclosure episode. Now, why is this episode ranked so low? Well, it's an interesting thing. And I'll repeat this question again, is because, Elizabeth Banks, I like her. She's pretty funny and talented. Disclosure, I like them, especially with Lord and Sam Smith. But why was this episode ranked so low? It was the main bits of the sketches itself. I mean, again, just like the Miley Cyrus episode, it just felt so lukewarm. But what really hit the shitter really was Weekend Update. I mean, it just didn't do it for me. It just didn't laugh. And they have this one joke. I'm not necessarily going to say it, but they did this one joke that just went on for way too long than it should have. That was the same in the Miley Cyrus episode about a particular sketch too. But yeah, it just... I gotta say, the music was probably one of my favorites of the season. And it's good opening monologue. But again, the sketches, they just could have been so much more developed. Okay, in 3rd place is the Donald Trump episode with Sia as a musical guest. Now, I wasn't expecting Donald Trump to be the funniest guy. I just watched it to see how bad he would do. And honestly, he did alright, honestly. Especially in the Hotline Bling sketch and the live tweet sketch. Those were both funny. However, this episode could have actually been higher if there was a little bit better writing, and if Sia wasn't on the musical guest list, oh my God, she was bad. I mean, she played songs that no one had ever heard of before, really, and no one really gave a shit about. I'm so sick and tired of her not showing her face bullshit, really. I mean, it was just, what the fuck, honestly. But still, I mean, what else do I have to say about this episode? Oh yeah, John Radinsky was actually good, and Larry David. Yeah, Larry David has made an appearance on this episode, and he made an appearance on a later episode I'm going to be talking about. But yeah, as Bernie Sanders. But yeah, but I still love the political commentary. Like when SNL is great, when SNL does political commentary, I think they are at their best, honestly, because that's what they know how to do. But yeah, despite the controversy and the high ratings, I still think this was a pretty good episode. All right, number 2 was the Amy Schumer and The Weeknd episode, and I gotta say, Amy Schumer used,